So I'm Joy. I'm from Northeast Tennessee. I appreciate being asked to qualify today. My abstinence date is October 12th, 2002. It's amazing. I don't know. All I know is I was a couple of things I believe. Number one is I came out, shot out of the womb and said, I got it from here. And number two is I was in AA for several years and I knew I didn't quite get what I didn't get the whole thing, meaning that I was still in the food. And I was working with a sponsor and I believed that, wow, I just needed to find the right diet. If I could find the right diet, then I'd be okay. But deep down inside, no matter what, I was not able to share what how it says on page 64, you can only share what you have. So even though, thankfully, I had put down some of the substances that were causing a lot of trouble in my life, the food was still there, and it was still, but still I was in denial until I saw a woman in this area that I watched her, I sort of watched her lose a lot of weight. Then I watched her balloon back up, and then she started losing a lot of weight. And what had happened was she had found GreySheet, and I didn't know it. I did know her. The message, the GreySheet message came down to this area from a woman in Chicago. But she had relapsed. So she, just like a lot of us have done, find it and then relapse. So I got her to tell me what was going on, and she told me about this meeting. And so I went there on my first meeting was October 12th, 2002. And from that moment on, finding GreySheet catapulted me really into this, the fourth dimension. Meaning I had done the steps, but the surrendering of the foods that we don't eat really made amazing amount of difference. It's amazing to me. I haven't had any sugar, grains, or starches in all this time. And just like so many of you. And by the way, I just wanted to say it's just wonderful to see your faces. I haven't met many of you, but I have met probably half of you. And I see a couple of you on the GreyNet and posting and sharing. And, when I got here, I jumped in. I jumped in with both feet into GreySheet. And even though it's sort of been in different areas, we had a local group for a while. Well, for quite a while. We had even 2 meetings a week. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we just don't have those meetings anymore. Some people have died and some people have moved away. And there are 2 of us. I live just over the mountain from Asheville, North Carolina. So the 2 of us get together as frequently as we can. And of course, here's the phone bridge and now these Zoom meetings. So I will tell you that also, like I said, I sort of thought that I was supposed to know what I was doing in this life right from the get-go. And obviously, I did not. And I was never really comfortable in my skin. I wanted to be like those skinny girls who seemed to have it all together and and I wanted to be them. I never wanted to be me. And I don't know where I could go with that, except for the different substances. And I'm glad that in this program, a lot of us have different substances. And the substances I used to a great extent were to keep me from eating. So I really like that action-packed, those kinds of medications or drugs that would keep me from eating because I wanted to be thin. I thought if I were thin, I would be happy. I thought a lot of things. I thought if I married that person, I'd be happy. If I divorced him, I'd be happy. And never realizing that this whole process is such an inside job. And but first I had to come to the end of that demoralization with all those substances before I was able to really understand turning my will and my life over to the power greater than myself, whom I call God today. And my relationship with God is the most important. My relationship and my intentional relationships in this life are important. I never had so much intentionality. I went through a period just a few weeks ago where I was, I know this is a positive pitch, but my thinking is still some of the old thinking, and that I said, oh, maybe I could do this on my own. Maybe I really don't need to be a gray sheet. And thankfully, I didn't act on it. I have learned a little bit that, maybe I'm on a slippery slope. And so I've upped my meetings, upped my phone calls. And again, it's, the community, no matter what. And I'm in a few communities. Being a compulsive eater, I could tend to isolate and be alone, even though I come across as being sort of outgoing. A big part of me just wants to stay right here in the house. But I do go out, and I do enjoy a lot of activities. I'm trying to watch you, Antoinette, in case I go over. But so where was I? So being part of this community, knowing that I'm not doing this alone, that there are a lot of us, that this is really the last house on the block. I know it is for me. And it's very important that I be reminded, because, and also just pass on the gift that was so freely given to me. So I also participate in a local AA club, and I say participate, yeah, I guess that's a good word. And I love that, because there but for the grace of God go I. I really don't want to forget that. I could go into all my defects. You probably know them, but I won't. But I think I've come across on a few of them. My thinking is one of my biggest enemies, and yet I enjoy my life. When I got abstinent, I had a husband who just fell along with me, and I still have him. That's pretty good. And we've been married. I met him in AA, and we are now married over 25 years. So that's good. I have a relationship with my daughter, whom I left when she was just a baby, and now she has 2 children of her own, and we have we spend a lot of time together. I've traveled, and Gray Sheet is so portable. I just got back from, not just, I guess last month I got back from Guatemala. Thank you, thank you. Does that mean over or 5?
5 left.
Okay, thank you. I've been to Europe. I've been on a bicycling trip in Europe. I've been in, I've done backpacking. I think the only thing that I really couldn't do for very long is carry all my food for too many days. I've actually backpacked, I think, 3 nights. That was very heavy. I've had back surgery. I've had a few knee surgeries. I am getting older. I retired last year. But, you know, this is all to say that life goes on, and life goes rapidly. And I don't want to lose the remaining time without gratitude, without my abstinence that keeps me at least a participant in my life. I went hiking today. It was sort of a walk with a man who, he keeps putting he keeps scheduling little hikes because he thinks it might be his last one, and he's 100.5, and he did it marvelously. So I go with him because it makes me feel like I'm young, but it was just amazing. So there's a great big life out there. It's springtime here. I think most of us are in the Northern Hemisphere, so it's all blooming and beautiful. And I've had 2 of my 3 meals, and I always know that there's another meal coming, and that's one of my favorite things. And so with that, I'm going to pass.